Welcome, valued viewers, to our extensive deep dive into the hidden shadows of modern history. January 2020. An unexpected strike in Baghdad shatters the night, defeating a titan. To the Western world, Qasem Soleimani was the ultimate architect of global chaos. Yet to the nation of Iran, he was a flawless national hero, defending their sacred borders. His sudden tragic fall exposed the massive true power of the IRGC, an empire within a state. The massive explosion left behind nothing but a scorched vehicle and a single silver ring in the dust. News of his sudden downfall sent a massive, terrifying shockwave across the entire trembling globe. Both Washington and Tehran suddenly found themselves staring directly into the dark abyss of total war. Millions of mourning citizens quickly flooded the vast streets of Tehran in an ocean of profound grief. For the Islamic Republic, this was not just a military loss. It was a profound, devastating wound. Soleimani was the brilliant mastermind behind Iran's vast network of proxy militias. He operated fiercely in the shadows, orchestrating complex, decisive actions from afar. Many Western intelligence agencies spent countless years hunting this elusive commander. Yet he moved freely across war-torn borders, completely untouched by his powerful enemies. His elite Quds Force answered to absolutely no one except the supreme religious leader. They act as the long, invisible arm of a government desperate to secure its fragile borders. To truly and fully understand this dark, complex machinery, we must look backward in time right now. If your vulnerable nation was surrounded by massive, hostile armies, how far would you go to survive? Would you build an aggressive proxy army, or simply wait for the devastating invasion? This is the exact dilemma that gave birth to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to historical records, the IRGC was never meant to be a normal army. They are ideological warriors, fiercely determined to protect the revolution at all costs. While regular, loyal soldiers defend the physical borders, the guards firmly defend the sacred regime. This distinct, dual military structure creates a deeply confusing and dangerous dynamic. For decades, they have operated completely outside the boundaries of normal international law. Their immense power terrified neighboring countries and frustrated global superpowers. But how did a small group of religious rebels transform into this unstoppable juggernaut? The shocking answer lies buried deep in the turbulent, chaotic aftermath of a massive revolt. A revolution that completely shattered the ancient Persian monarchy into a million pieces. The old regime's powerful generals were vanquished without mercy, or forced to flee for their lives. This massive, rapid purge left the newly formed Islamic Republic dangerously weak and exposed. Enemies lurked in every shadow, eagerly waiting for the perfect moment to strike them down. The religious clerics desperately needed a loyal sword to strike fear into their rivals. Let us journey back to the turbulent, explosive streets of Tehran in 1979. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, established a strict new theocratic government. However, he deeply mistrusted the remnants of the Shah's heavily armed, professional military. He feared a swift and devastating military coup sponsored by the Central Intelligence Agency. To successfully counter this massive threat, He ordered the rapid creation of a parallel armed force. These early devoted guards were simply passionate young men, driven by intense religious fervor. They lacked formal military training, but they possessed a terrifying, fearless dedication. Armed with old, rusty rifles, they aggressively and ruthlessly silenced all internal opposition. Their ultimate baptism by fire arrived unexpectedly in September 1980. Saddam Hussein officially launched a massive, devastating surprise invasion across the border. The brutal Iran-Iraq War quickly devolved into a horrifying, tragic trench stalemate. Historical archives document the horrific, widespread use of deadly chemical weapons. The regular army struggled to hold the fragile line against the heavily armored invaders. In this darkest hour, the Revolutionary Guards aggressively stepped into the deadly breach. They boldly launched massive human wave attacks, charging blindly across dangerous, explosive minefields. Thousands of young, devoted martyrs willingly gave everything they had for the Holy Revolution. A young, fierce Qasem Soleimani emerged as a brilliant, fearless tactical commander here. He witnessed firsthand the catastrophic cost of fighting a superior conventional force. This traumatic, devastating conflict permanently shaped the psychological core of the regime. They fiercely vowed to never again fight a massive, destructive war on their own sovereign soil. Instead, they aggressively developed a doctrine of forward defense and asymmetrical warfare. The Guards rapidly expanded their influence, absorbing both naval and aerospace capabilities. They secretly began developing a highly sophisticated ballistic missile program. Yet their most strategic and highly effective weapon was the creation of the elite Quds Force. This covert operations branch was specifically designed to export the Islamic Revolution. They began aggressively cultivating militant groups in deeply unstable neighboring countries. Hezbollah in Lebanon was their very first, highly successful and deeply loyal creation. This powerful Lebanese militia quickly became the gold standard for all future proxy armies. Throughout the 1990s, the elite Quds Force operated deeply in the unseen shadows. They consistently provided advanced weapons, vital funding, and critical tactical training. After the American invasion of Iraq, their regional influence expanded greatly. Soleimani manipulated the chaotic vacuum left by the fallen dictator. He aggressively funded powerful Shia militias to exhaust the occupying forces. According to Pentagon reports, these dangerous proxy groups defeated hundreds of Allied soldiers. The tragic Syrian civil war provided a massive new opportunity for the elusive Guards. They deployed thousands of hardened fighters to aggressively defend the embattled regime. In Yemen, they actively supplied the Houthi rebels with highly advanced missile technology. This brilliant proxy network effectively surrounded their enemies in a perilous ring of fire. Is it a legitimate strategy to aggressively arm dangerous foreign paramilitaries? Or does this covert action deliberately destabilize the entire region for selfish gain? Meanwhile, inside Iran, the Guard Corps transformed into a massive economic juggernaut. They systematically gained total control over critical national infrastructure projects. Their vast engineering firm heavily dominates the lucrative construction and energy sectors. They ruthlessly manage massive black market smuggling operations through strictly controlled ports. This hidden economic empire generates billions in entirely untraceable funds. These massive, secret profits are aggressively used to finance their overseas proxy wars. Western economic sanctions severely crippled the civilian population's daily lives. However, the Guard Corps actively used these harsh sanctions to solidify their market monopoly. They are essentially a deeply entrenched mafia, operating freely within a sovereign state. They quickly suppress domestic political protests with absolute, terrifying efficiency. The supreme religious leadership heavily relies on their muscle to maintain absolute power. In return, the Guards receive immense, unprecedented political and financial privileges. This deeply symbiotic relationship makes them totally impossible to fully dismantle. By the late 2000s, Qasem Soleimani had achieved the exalted status of a demigod. He confidently traveled across the fiery Middle East, orchestrating massive military acts. His undeniable strategic brilliance heavily frustrated many powerful foreign leaders. This brings us back to that fateful, intensely explosive night in Baghdad in 2020. The sudden elimination of their beloved commander was a massive, humiliating blow. The entire world held its collective breath, deeply fearing an apocalyptic regional war. Iran quickly retaliated with a massive barrage of highly accurate ballistic missiles. They fiercely targeted American military bases located deep inside Iraq. Fortunately, absolutely no immediate American casualties were reported that dark night. Yet the dangerous geopolitical reality remained completely and totally unchanged. Many analysts incorrectly believed Soleimani's fall would severely cripple the network. Instead, the supreme leadership quickly appointed a highly capable, fiercely loyal successor. The deeply integrated machine he meticulously built simply continued to function. The axis of resistance remains a highly dangerous, evolving strategic threat today. The powerful, supreme religious leaders still fiercely maintain absolute control of everything. Their vast, hidden underground missile silos silently wait for the inevitable conflict. Meanwhile, loyal proxy fighters aggressively defend their borders from thousands of miles away. But this massive, incredibly powerful empire is constantly under heavy surveillance. Israel considers this deeply entrenched military network an existential threat. The highly secretive Mossad intelligence agency operates quietly in the shadows. They are constantly attempting to deeply infiltrate the very darkest layers of the regime. A dangerous shadow war of silent eliminations completely consumes the Middle East. Top nuclear scientists inexplicably perish in highly targeted, explosive attacks. Secret military facilities suffer extremely massive and sudden detonations. The brutal, covert conflict heavily blurs the fragile line between a sovereign state and an army. This powerful force continues to aggressively expand its vast regional footprint today. Their undeniable dedication guarantees the survival of the theocracy. But ordinary citizens inevitably pay a devastating price for this endless war. They currently live under the heavy, suffocating shadow of crippling international sanctions. How did Israeli intelligence operatives successfully penetrate this fortress? We will absolutely explore that deep mystery in our highly anticipated next episode. The powerful IRGC built an impenetrable shield, but at what cost to its own people? Is this army a genius defense strategy, or a ruthless reign of oppression? Comment below. If you found this epic historical deep dive valuable, please like, share, and subscribe today.